We got Will from Colorado. Pronouns are he, him. Says, had a natural disaster and religious organizations wanted to help him and proselytize instead. So how you doing? And what if you could give us a little bit more information on that, that'd be great.
Sure. Thanks for talking to me, guys. So my house burned down in the big wildfire at the end of last year in Colorado.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, can I swear? Is swearing allowed? It fucking sucks.
We've broken. Yeah, you can swear, and it's definitely understandable. I think, to encapsulate that, you could go further. You could go further with that too. So.
I could. Anyways, part of the process with just what's been happening over the past couple months is I need to get all the debris cleaned up out of my house and excavated away so that we can maybe start building new stuff. And the county put together a bunch of volunteer organizations to come to your house and help you dig through the debris and try and find anything worth saving. And just by happenstance, I got paired up with somebody from Billy Graham's organization. And it was just kind of an awkward experience to have them come to the house and, they were trying to pray with me. They tried to do witnessing with me. I don't even know.
Oh my gosh.
And in the meantime, I'm getting suited up in the PPE that they brought to try and go help them because that's what I want to be doing. I don't want to be sitting around picking my nose and talking about the Bible.
So real fast, Will. So if I have this straight, Will, you had a horrific incident happen, and then on top of that, you had people come espouse their beliefs on top of that as a mechanism of comfort that is actually not comforting in the slightest in any way.
So they were, I'd say it's a little bit, to be more charitable towards them, they wanted to come and help clean up the house, and they had the tools to do it. And
sure. I get that.
Right. So I accept that, and I didn't it was just very awkward for me because I didn't know whether it's being disingenuous of me to say that hey, look, your proselytizing isn't going to do anything for me. I appreciate that you guys are coming out to help, but in the moment, I just kind of didn't respond to what they had to say. So I guess I'm just looking for some advice on in the future, if I have to deal with organizations like this, is it worth telling them out front, hey, look, I don't believe, or is it worth just trying to be kind of non-committal and play along, or I don't know.
I'm interested on Kenneth's initial thoughts on it. I have some thoughts myself, but I'm interested to see what Kenneth has to say.
I mean, my initial thought is from their perspective, they are using a very real fire that affected you to try to save you from the fire that they think is coming. And so there's an impulse there that I think is rooted in sort of a misguided kindness.
Right.
But that doesn't make it any easier on you when it happens. So I think that if you know that a religious group is coming to help you out, it may be worth it to just set clear boundaries. And it might be worth it for you to say something to the effect of, listen, I know you guys believe that there's this other sort of impending fire, but I need help with this one. And I'm not
right.
With respect to you guys and what you do, if you want to help me, this is where I need the help, and anything else is really not needed and not welcome. So if you guys can do that, then come help. If you can't, then thanks anyways, kind of a thing. And just protect yourself from the whole interaction that you don't want to have.
Yeah, I'm afraid that in the moment I just kind of stumbled over. You know, I didn't quite realize who exactly was coming and what.
Yeah.
How enthusiastic they're going to be. Let's just put it that way. So I think I appreciate the vocabulary that you just you put out there. And that'd be worth.
You could
keeping in mind next
try keeping a Book of Mormon in your pocket, and when they show up, asking them if they'd like to hear about the third testament of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd love that.
And it's hard to say because it's like, you know, going through what you're going through. I don't know that you have, like, at least by putting myself in your shoes, which is extremely hard to do. It would, like, I almost would want to take Kenneth's thing there and be like, well, let me explain to you why, you know, Joseph Smith's the false prophet, and I go into like and I start to do what they essentially are doing to me to show them how uncomfortable that is for them, you know. But even in that case, they're not really going to even fully grasp it because they're not the ones being, I don't want to use exploited,
they're
but
not affected, right?
Yeah, because they're like,
No,
I mean, they're doing good, but like, it's like, you know, we're gonna go feed the homeless, but before we give them the sandwich kind of thing, like, we're gonna talk about Jesus. It just seems like you're, you know, holding the sandwich ransom almost in a way.
Well, it is exploitative, and look at the
exactly,
targets
yeah.
of most Christian evangelists. It is children and the vulnerable.
Yeah.
That is where the openings are. That is where.
Well, I only say that because since I'm not in the situation, I don't know specifically how it was presented. But if it's presented in the way that I imagine, then yes, absolutely.
And I'm not. And again, like, that's why I made the point about it being sort of a misguided kindness, because, you know, if you talk to people about this, I mean, the believer thinks that they're you know, literally doing the Lord's work. They're going to save your ass from hell. But they don't see the other side of it. They don't see how it's exploiting vulnerabilities in service of their, you know, religious agenda.
Especially when you're taking people at their weakest moment, potentially, you know, and to like throw that on top of somebody, it seems very opportunistic to go around and like, hey, let's go to prisons where we can preach to people who have, you know, really nothing left going for them in a lot of cases, or people that, you know, and maybe potentially AA, or, you know, wherever it might be, where it's this really opportunistic time to capitalize on. Whoop, my cat's jumping on me. It scared me. But it's seen. Yeah, I mean, that's what boils my blood, is that kind of immediate, hey, we have an opportunity here. You know, that's
right.
Because if it was true, it seemingly you wouldn't have organizations having this correlation of people at their, you know, potentially weakest moments, and instead, you know, this would be successful in all cases, you know, across the board. But it seems really odd to me that it's driven towards one end of the spectrum, you know. But that seems illuminating in a lot of ways. But it's hard to give advice, like, because I don't think that me and Kenneth like offer advice, and we just give kind of our opinions on what we think. But, you know, it's hard to say. It's just that I would kind of go with Kenneth on the same thing, where given I'm you know, not overwhelmed at that time, it might be interesting to do the same thing and go, let me give you reasons on why, you know, this isn't real. Waste their time, you know. But at the same time, it's like,
everything.
You know, I don't know if that's the best thing to do necessarily. You know?
Everything hinges on your comfort level, because there's the whole gamut of. I mean, some atheists are going to be like, awesome, bring the Billy Graham people over here. This is a great opportunity for me to talk about the problem of evil, and, you know, why does God allow this kind of bullshit to happen to people? You know, and we'll sort of flip the script on the evangelists and use it as an opportunity to come after them. Others just, I mean, especially, I mean, you're dealing with a major like crisis right now. You might not have the emotional bandwidth to deal with fucking anything right now. You might just want help with cleaning up all this shit and getting everything back on track in your life. So everything depends on your comfort level here. And if they can't respect it, fuck them and send them packing. Is what I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that definitely happened to me in that morning, just because it's kind of an emotional place to return to and go digging through the ashes of your former life. And then I was just blindsided by this, that like, oh wow, they're really going to take this seriously and try and pray with me. And here's 2 random women walking up that want to witness me. Like, no, this isn't Mad Max. We have work to do. And I don't know. It was such a weird experience. I'm still kind of blindsided by that whole thing even happening.
Sure. Well, can I ask you?
Talking to me. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Well, can I ask you? Somewhat related. Presumably, things are on at least trending in an upward direction. I would hope. I just want to inquire to see if from that kind of level how things have panned out.
My situation is that I'm good. We have on my wife's side, we have rather large to extreme levels of privilege, and this is exactly the kind of thing that I can bounce back from, and it'll be fine. I'm heartbroken for my neighbors and other members of the community that do not, and I don't know what they're going to do. There's a lot of loss, and it's really difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, Will, we really appreciate you calling in and sharing this with us. I think.
Just as just as a last thing, like I don't know where exactly you are in Colorado, if you were affected by like the Marshall fires or what it was, but you may consider. Okay, so then you may consider going online. I just did a quick search and saw you got groups around Boulder atheists who you can find groups of humanists and of atheists that want to get out and help in communities, and often might not necessarily know where the need is. I mean, one thing about these I mean, you look at a multinational corporation like the Billy Graham groups or Franklin Graham or all these people, they're connected. It's very easy for churches to go out and get active in the communities because there's sort of an established network for how to do that. So there could be an opportunity for you to reach out to a group like, sorry for blowing up your spot, Boulder atheists, if you're out there, but there might be people out there who are eager to help, but who might not know how. You'll see, in the secular community, people are very quick to donate, financially to various groups, but don't necessarily know how to get involved if they want to do boots on the ground activism. And I mean, there are groups that do an excellent job with organizing, like Black Nonbelievers comes to mind, where there are certain groups where that sort of infrastructure is there. But this could be an opportunity in your neck of the woods to organize people to help out.
No, it's a really good point, and it's something that I was thinking about a lot when. So just the mechanics of how stuff like this happens after a disaster. There's typically in your county or in an adjacent county or something like that, there'll be a federal disaster center where you go, and that's kind of the place where everybody gets together, and that's where the resources are for people you can go talk to. And it's just something I was thinking about a lot when I had to go visit there, where 3 out of the 4 booths or 4 out of the 5 booths are some religious organization. And in part, it's because they have the money where outside of the Disaster Assistance Center, there's 2 or 3 big semi-trailers with, Jesus slapped on the side, and they're full of equipment and food and tools and things like that to try and help people out. And it's just frustrating that they're in a position that they can do that. Whereas if you're an organization that, of non-believers or atheists or something like that, then you probably don't have the sort of institutional background to be able to pull that off, that you can pluck people out from around the country and drive them to some place to try and help out.
If you think about if you think about people like tithing, for example, I mean, in most churches, it's 10% of your income goes to the church. So, in Christian churches in the United States, that's like the normal number, 10%. If you can get a congregation of 10 people together and they're all donating 10% of their income. I mean, you there, sit back. There you go. Your income's covered. You know, if you can get 10 followers, right? But when you look at organizations like, you know, like the multinational corporations that certain quote unquote ministries are, I mean, they are flush with cash. So yeah, they can buy buses and slap slogans on them and show up places and evangelize. It's easy for them.
Yeah. Hey, and just to bring up one more quick thing, at the end of their little session with me and helping around at the house, they gave me some Bible that they said was special because it's something that they only give to disaster victims. And as far as I can tell, the only thing that's special about it is it's got one page in it that says this was given to a disaster victim. Do you guys want it?
No. I have I have too many Bibles. Too many Bibles as an atheist I have. I'm looking up at my shelf and I'm like, I don't need these.
That's rough, man. But
I recently went from 0 to 1, so
there you go. I would say, I mean, I'm always calling people to get plugged into the community and stuff, but if you want to you know, get plugged into the community in any of our venues, I'm sure there are people who would want to help out in any way that they can. So if you're comfortable with that, you might consider posting on the Facebook or getting on the Discord or something like that. And I mean, these are fan run pages, but you know, we have great fans who are typically good-hearted people who want to help out. So yeah, but hang in there, Will. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, Will, thank you. We appreciate
your time,
it a lot. Yeah.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
You too. Hopefully we'll hear from you in the future.